wa barakatuh, my dear. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear respected brothers and sisters and dear viewers of Imam Hussein TV 3. And welcome to Shami Ghariban. The night of sorrows, the night of tragedies, and the night where Zainab looks towards the stars and she looks for her grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alih, and she looks for her mother Fatima al-Zahra alayha salam, but also her backbone and her biggest support, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam.
It is the 10th of Muharram, Yawm al-Ashura, in the holy land of Karbala. The body of Abu Abdullah is scattered on the desert plains, while the army of Yazid run, burn and loot the camps of Bani Hashim. Brothers and sisters, tonight inshallah we will be commemorating the strong females, the women and the survivors of the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah Hussein and the tragic massacre of Karbala. And inshallah we'll be taking you to the tents of Sayyidah Zainab, salamun alayha.
عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصاب الحسين بن علي.
يا أبا عبد الله.
إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Zainab salam Allah alayha is standing alone. She doesn't know where to start. Dealing with the orphans behind, or looking in front at the bodies. I just narrate one of the riwayat that Imam Sajjad says. He says, if you knew what I saw in Karbala, you would never smile again. Brothers and sisters, today is not the night of smiling. Today is the night of crying for Imam Hussein.
Brothers and sisters, tonight the swords in Karbala look red and bloody. Tonight the sword of Zuhair and the sword of Burair and the sword of Habib and John and Abis and Hur and Abu Abdullah, Qasim, Akbar, Abu al-Fadl. Tonight they all lay with blood. They are collected by the enemies as spoils of war. By Allah, the blood of Hussein will never dry until Sahib al-Zaman appears. Tonight, my dear brothers and sisters, as you saw on your screens, we have a special show for you. Tonight isn't a show to have your name written on a flag, and it's not a show for you to perform a live ziyarah. Tonight, we are blessed by the grandchildren of Hussein, the descendants of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein wearing green, reciting the masa'ib of their grandfather, Abi Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. And what better than to start off with our dear brother, Sayyid Khamis Rizvi. Bismillah. Before you begin, Sayyid, please have a seat.
salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Our dear brother in the studio, can we have some echo in the speakers, please?
किए हैं शिम्र ने दो कत्ल, एक खंजर से, किए हैं शिम्र ने दो कत्ल, एक खंजर से। लहू हुसैन का पोंछा बहन की चादर से, लहू हुसैन का पोंछा बहन की चादर से। Can I please request for the background music to be turned off? It's Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. किए हैं शिम्र ने दो कत्ल, एक खंजर से। लहू हुसैन का पोंछा बहन की चादर से, किए हैं शिम्र ने गरीब ज़हरा वहीं रोते रोते मर जाता। गरीब ज़हरा वहीं रोते रोते मर जाता। बहन उठा के ना लाती जो लाश अकबर से, किए हैं शिम्र ने किसी ने बालों से पकड़ा, कोई उठा के चला, किसी ने बालों से पकड़ा, कोई उठा के चला। सरे हुसैन को मारा किसी ने पत्थर से। दो कत्ल एक खंजर से लहू हुसैन का पोंछा बहन की चादर से किए हैं शिम्र ने
Beautiful recitation there by Sayyid Khamis Rizvi. The line that really touched my heart was you saying that the blood of Hussein reached the Jadr, the Rida of Sayyida Zainab Salamu alayha. For killing Abu Abdullah al-Hussein wasn't enough for the army of Yazid. For they wanted to trample over his body. They wanted to cut his body into pieces. And like the poet said, they kicked his head and played games with it. But the tragedy of Karbala doesn't stop at the death and the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. No. Bani Umayyah La'natullah alayhi were known to threaten the women of their enemies, to hold them as captives, as hostages, to disgrace them and humiliate them. It wasn't enough that they had killed their brothers, that they had killed their fathers. They had to rub it in their faces. They had to taunt them as they marched them on towards Kufa. It wasn't enough that they killed a 6-month-old baby. They had to put his head on a spear, and they had to walk, being humiliated. Look, Zainab, look what we did to your brother. Look what we did to Abu Father. This is Ali Muhammad. I thought you guys were warriors. Look, Allah has made us succeed. But Zainab Salamu alayha saw nothing but beauty. Inshallah, we'll have more recitations, and inshallah we'll have more lamentation. But I'd like to pass over to Abu Talib. Abu Talib, can you bless us with your voice somehow?
Talking about Zainab Salamullahi alayha. أنا زينب اللي يحجون عني سليت المصايب وما سلني نزلا على عيوني وعمني والله نزلا على عيوني وعمني أنا زينب الهاشمية أنا زينب الهاشمية هاشمية بطبت الشام سموني منو زينب المسبية أنا رايحة العباس أجعده. On this night, after Imam Hussein was slaughtered, Zainab puts the orphans to sleep, keeping in mind, one says, Aunt, I am hungry. One says, Aunt, I am thirsty. One says, Aunt, look at my burns. One says, Aunt, look at my cuts. She puts them all to sleep, and then in the middle of the night she starts walking. What does she say? أنا رايحة العباس أجعده. I am going to wake up أبا الفضل أجعده وراوي حال اختل مسعده. والله وراوي حال اختل مسعده واقلها يا خويا نومتك مو محلها مو محلها. I am going to wake up Aba al-Fadl and show him what my situation is, and tell him, oh Aba al-Fadl, if you're sleeping, then this time is not for you to sleep. And she also says, أنا رايح العباس سجعده. What else? وركب جفوفه فوق زنده زنده، وقل له يا خويا اليتامى بحاجتك، والله وقل له يا خويا اليتامى بحاجتك.
Brothers and sisters, this show today is just crying because we want to mourn Hussein. The 10th of Muharram, after all the companions had gone out and fought, Abu Abdullah looks left and he looks right, and its body scattered all over the floor. He looks towards Qasim, and then he looks towards his companions, and he says, Habib, Zuhair, Burair, Abbas, John, Hur, why are you sleeping? Get up, your Imam needs you. Why have you left your Imam? Your Imam needs you, get up and help me. But it was only then, when Abu Abdullah and Hussein went out and fought, Sayyidah Zainab alayha salam and Bibi Ruqayyah alayha salam. Bibi Ruqayyah would run around. See this tent, my dear brothers and sisters? Ripped, bloodied, burnt. Hamid ibn Muslim says, I saw a young girl running around. He said, can I help you with anything? He was a narrator of the Battle of Karbala. He said, can I help you with anything? She said to him, oh man, are you with us or are you against us? He said, I am neither with you nor against you. What can I help you with? She said, take me to the land of Najaf. For I heard my aunt Zainab say there's a man there who whenever we're in difficulties, he will help us. Inshallah, Sayyid Muhsin.
Zainab salamu alayha stood on a hill as she watched the battle commence. And when shimmer was on the chest of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, the poet says that he ran and she ran, and he fell and she fell, and all hope was lost. Later, Sayyidah Zainab salamu alayha comes to the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. I believe my brothers from Watford have a eulogy in regards to Sayyidah Zainab coming to the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Please, brothers. Bismillah. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Zainab rondi rahi bekafn biramanu. Zainab rondi rahi bekafn biramanu. Hai sajad re aronda puphiyan dir davanu. Zainab
रोंदी रही बेकफन बिरामानू ज़ैनब रोंदी रही बेकफन बिरामानू चदरा उतार दे रे मैं विसार दे रे पत्थरां दी बारिशां चों सानू गुजार दे रे हाय साडे लई चुन दे रे पत्थरीलिया रावानू ज़ैनब रोंदी रही बेकफन बिरावानू ज़ैनब रोंदी रही बेकफन बिरावानू एक रात कैद आने चुप हो गई सकीना रजवैन की ते फुफियाँ कुछ बोली नहीं सकीना हाय सिर बाबेदा तक दासी ओदी रुक दिया सामानू ज़ैनब रोंदी रही बेकफन बिरावानू अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला
Muhammad wa
Brothers, thank you so much. You know, I know it's difficult for us to speak about the tragedy of Karbala, but it's more difficult for you because it's your grandfather. In Karbala's heart, where tears did flow, a tale of sorrow, a tragic blow. As Imam Hussein met a martyr's fate, Zainab, his sister, carried the weight. In the aftermath of the battle's strife, he stood strong. She stood strong, the beacon of life, with courage and grace. Her heart did swell, a pillar of strength amidst the farewell. Her beloved brother, now no more. Zainab's heart, an ocean did pour. In the face of loss, her spirit did soar. To carry out the legacy they bore. With the captives she embraced on a path to Yazid's court. Her resilience heart, a voice of truth she'd never quell. In the court of the oppressor she'd excel. With eloquence she'd recount the tale of Karbala, a heart's travel. In every world a message to unveil. The injustice face, the truth prevail. Through grief wave, heavy she'd never bend. Her spirit steadfast, her will to mend. In Zainab's heart a fire did burn. In Zainab's heart a fire did burn. For justice she'd forever yearn. Through trials and tribulations she'd persist. In the face of tyranny she'd resist. Zainab the warrior, a soul untamed. In the annals of history forever acclaimed. Her legacy, a beacon, an eternal flame in the hearts of believers. she'll forever reign. For Zainab, the daughter of Ali's kin. For Zainab, the daughter of Ali's kin. A symbol of strength in our souls within. A symbol of strength in our souls within.
Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam watches the tragedies unfold in front of her. And the tents burn. And the fire burns the foot of Ruqayya and Bibi Sakina and Layla and Ramla and Rabab and Zainab and Kulthum alayhim as-salam. Just imagine the moment where the La'een ibn al-La'een lays his hands on Bibi Zainab alayhi salam. And then imagine the moment he grabs Bibi Ruqayya alayhi salam and slaps her. And then imagine the moment they become chained. And then imagine the moment Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam has to walk with his back bent, because had he stood up, Ruqayya would choke. She would be hung to death. Those all break your hearts. But do you know what the worst one is? When they made them walk by the body of Hussein and Abbas. Shimr specifically said, take them around the bodies of Hussein and Abbas. And then each of the mothers who had sons die in Karbala, take them towards the bodies of their sons. Humiliate their sons' bodies. But the tribes couldn't allow anyone to humiliate the bodies of their sons, because the mothers of these martyrs of Karbala were from their tribes. Even Abbas, his mother was from the same tribe as Shimr, so his body wasn't trampled upon. So Umar bin Sa'ad calls, which of you has a son in the army? Who here, or who from the army of Hussein isn't a relative of any of you? He said, just Aba Abdullah and Hussein alayhi salam. Sharpen your hooves, run over his body. As in the body. No, the same fingers that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi used to kiss. One of them cut off because they wanted his ring. And the same cheeks that used to be kissed by Rasulullah would be poked. Inshallah, my dear brothers and sisters, we're going to go for a short break, but please stay with us for the Shami Ghariban live show. Don't go anywhere.
Month of Muharram, one of the most significant acts is the provision of tabarruk and niyaz for Husseiniyyas worldwide.
In a world plagued by hunger and the merciless killing of Shia Muslims on a daily basis, it becomes our duty to give to those in need. Countless Husseiniyyat, Imam Bargas and centers cook meals to nourish their local communities as the masses gather to remember Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
And do you know what? The orphans and widows absolutely cherish it.
During this time of year, hundreds of thousands of orphans, widows and people living in poverty rely on niyaz and tabarruk.
Just imagine the profound impact a single plate of food, a glass of water or a bag of fruit can have.
These simple items can nourish a hungry child, bring comfort to a struggling family, and even inspire a brighter future.
However, we cannot do this alone. We need your help to create a lasting impact this Muharram.
Join us in this collective effort to provide basic necessities that every human deserves.
Make your niyaz count and donate your tabarruk now so that it can reach the Hussainis and the Zainabis of today.
Welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters, to the show. And of course, we extend our deepest appreciation to our guests who are here blessing us with their voices and their poetry. And this is sort of a majlis. And this is azeh. Because we know on the 10th of Muharram, there is a lady who walks around in Karbala holding a rib. And she holds this rib and she's looking for the azah of her son. She looks for the azah.
الوالدة يا حسين يا ابني أنا الوالدة يا حسين يا ابني يا ريت ذباحك ذبحني. You know, when I recite with a lower tune, lower voice, because imagine Fatima salamullahi alayha, she has a broken rib and her back is bent and she's got a frozen cheek as well. She has no energy, she doesn't have the strength to weep. So when she recites in a lower voice, أنا الوالدة يا حسين يا ابني يا ابني يا ابني يا ريت ذباحك ذبحني. أنا الوالدة وادور عذبني وين ما كان In such a night, Zainab wants assistance. She has no one. Who does she call out? تعالي يا محسن لي تعالي. What does she say? Come over, mother of Hassan, come over, assist me, I am alone. تعالي يا محسن لي تعالي وعاونيني على هذا حالي. والله حالي واخوتي مجتلة قبالي. Mother Hassan, assist me, come to me, assist me as I witness not one, not two, but all my brothers beheaded in front of me, all my sons and their companions. What does Fatima al-Zahra respond? What does she say to her? مو بعيدة أنا يا يمه مو بعيدة. I'm not far. Oh my daughter, I am not far. مو بعيدة تراني يا زينب مو بعيدة. What else? Brothers, Sada, grandchildren of Rasulullah, Sahib al-Zaman, you are present in this land. My apology. This is gonna break your heart. this is gonna hurt you. والله مو بعيدة مو بعيدة أنا شفت حسين وحسينا، أنا شفت حسين من حزة وريده، والله شفت السمير من قعد على صدره، رحم الله من نادى وحسين وحسين وحسين.
MashaAllah, Abu Talib. You see, when it comes to Sham Ghariban, one would ask, who taught these men to attack women? Who taught these men to use fire and to burn the tents? Ya Sayyidah Zainab Salam ala alayha, this is not foreign to you. This is not a new technique. For they came to your mother's house and they burnt her door and they burnt her house and they slapped your mother and they whipped your mother, and now they come to slap you and whip you and the women and the children of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. If you thought that the battle was loud and you thought the battle was full of screams and shouting, then brothers and sisters, how loud were the screams when they came to loot and burn the tents? Women were running from one tent to another, seeking shelter, seeking help. But where were the men? The men were on the floors of Karbala, in pieces, one with no arms, one with a lance in his chest, another beheaded. The screams went louder and louder. Even they say that people from afar could hear the screams as the winds would carry them to the nearby villages and so forth. Brother Khamis, I believe you have something related to the screams and the winds.
What I'm about to recite now, as you very rightly said, so Sayyid Muhsin. The poet talks about these winds that approached him and what he heard within those winds, what was the story that these winds told. And he said, as these winds traveled towards me, for a very long time, all I heard in those winds were the sounds of matam and the sounds of wailing. Loud salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa
Karbala se jo meri simt hawaएं आईं Karbala se जो मेरी सिमत हवाएं आईं, देर तक गिरी आओ मातम की सदाएं आईं, करबला से जो मेरी सिमत हवाएं आईं. And he goes on to talk about, as these winds traveled, he also saw there was flowers that blossomed. And the poet thought to himself, these flowers are, he was thinking about what's the reason, why, how come these flowers are blossoming?
Sure.
And he then said that maybe this is a present from these winds to the Shuhada Karbala. So these winds are delivering these flowers as a present to the Shuhada Karbala. Phool mehke jo baharon mein to socha सोचा मैंने किन शहीदों के लिए सुर्ख कबाएं करबला से जो आसमानों से जो टकराई है फरियाद रबा टकराई है फरियाद रबा कब्र असग़र पे बरसने को घटाएं करबला से जो मेरी सेंत हवाएं आई। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला
व आलि Muhammad. Ahsan Sayyid, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Tonight, my dear viewers, millions stand in the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and in the shrine of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, and in the surrounding streets, of course. Around 1400 years ago, this was a barren land. No buildings, just sand. And we stand here and we see the generosity of the people of Karbala, or the Shia in general, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, because they come from all walks of life. That generosity wasn't reciprocated to Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam. When she stood there alone, when Abu Abdullah al-Hussein stood there alone shouting, هل من ناصر ينصرنا أين حبيب أين زهير أين برير, where are all my companions gone? Sayyid Muhsin, where did the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein go? Why did they leave him?
It wasn't that they left him. It was an honor for them to give their lives to Bani Hashim. It was an honor for them to die for the deen of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was the honor for them to protect the women of Bani Hashim. It was agreed amongst the companions that no one from the house of Rasulullah would enter the battlefield until they had fought and given their lives for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. But yes, Minhal, on that moment, when we come to the evening of Ashura, around 3-4 o'clock, Abu Abdullah had no one. Ali al-Akbar had gone. Sayyid Qasim, his only reminder of his brother, Imam Hussein, had perished into pieces, trampled over. His brother Abbas, now Hazrat Abbas, Abu Fadil, was given to Imam Hussein as an imana, and Imam Hussein was given to Abu Fadil as an imana by their father on their deathbed. When we commemorate the istishhad of Amir al-Mu'mineen, our leader, Ali ibn Abu Talib, on the 21st of Ramadan, on his deathbed, he puts the hand of Abu Fadil in Imam Hussein and says, you shall take care of each other. That imana was taken away from Abu Abdullah al-Hussein.
But subhanallah, the 21st of Ramadan, Amir al-Mu'mineen would do everything he possibly could to make sure Zainab never saw him hurt.
Yes.
On the 19th of Ramadan, when he was struck, and he got to the door, he said, keep me upright. Don't let Zainab see me in this state. And of course, when Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam was born, Amir al-Mu'mineen would kiss the hands of Abbas, little baby's hands. And he'd kiss the eye of Abbas.
Ya Allah.
And he would hand Abbas to Zainab. And he would say, Zainab, this man will protect you. Having a backbone. And then all of a sudden you see him with no life. Dead on the floor. But he was buried near the Furat. Because Abu Abdullah al-Hussein ran towards Abbas. But Abbas said, don't take me back. Why? Like my father, I can't let Zainab see me in this state. I promised Sukaina I will bring her water. But my master, I couldn't bring the water. I can't go back empty-handed. My master, leave me here. That's why Abu al-Fadl is on one side. Hussein is on another side. Where's Zainab? Sham. Abbas, you left Zainab. Why is she not in Karbala buried here? Because there was a 3-year-old she had to take care of. She had to protect Ruqayyah. That's the only reason Sayyidah Zainab is buried in Sham. She wanted to be near her niece.
Sayyidah Zainab salamu alayha had a very special bond with Abu Fadl Abbas. In fact, she was the one that raised Abu Fadl. It wasn't a brother-sister relationship. It was more of a mother and son. So much that when Sayyidah Zainab mounted on her camel to go to Karbala, Abu Fadl came with his cloak to cover and give her parda while she walked on. Ya Abu Fadl, what happened when the army of Yazid came and there was no parda for Sayyidah Zainab? There was no protector for Sayyidah Zainab salamu alayha. Ya Abu Fadl, you are one of the most blessed men, for your hands and your arms were given in the name of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Not only did Amir al-Mu'mineen kiss your hand, but so did Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on the plains of Karbala, and so did Imam Sajjad when he buried you. But Ya Abu Fadl, were you there when Sayyidah Zainab returned? Were you there to answer her calls? She had a lot to tell you. I'd like to invite the brothers from Watford who have something in regards to the special conversation between Sayyidah Zainab Salaam Alayha and Abu Father after Karbala.
And it's Tere Baju Viran Ghazi, which translates to, oh brother. The poet depicts what Sayyidah Zainab had to endure after the martyrdom of Hazrat Abbas.
Tere Baju Viran Ghazi इंज शामा पै गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां ओ मेरा सिर जख्मी हाय हून अलूदा विच मिट्टियां रह गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां वेख सजाद जरा किवें वसदा ए बेरा किवें वसदा ए बेरा ओदी नगरी विच आसान तू पहला ऊठा तो लग गया तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां सिर तो चादर लै गई हाय मैं रोंदी रह गई हाय मैं रोंदी रह गई तेरे बाज वीरन हाथां विच मेरे हाय रस्सियां पै गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां हाय दरबारां विच तंग बाजारां विच तंग बाजारां विच मेरा नाल के ओ दिन सदावां मैनू सुननियां पै गईयां तेरे बाजों वीरन गाजी इंज शामा पै गईयां अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद.
Brothers, I narrate, O Shia, our dear master, Abi Abdullah, wasn't just killed. He wasn't just killed, but he was in the worst ways slain. Like blades, the hooves of Arabian horses chopped and tore up the body of our Hussein. Imagine pieces of his limbs. Imagine pieces of his limbs and toes flying towards the left and pieces scattered towards the right. Upon that mound, Al-Hawra Zainab stood and gazed upon this unbelievable and horrific sight. The children of Hussein. The children of Hussein see something pouring down from the skies, and they rush to see if rain could quench their thirst. Little did they know that it was the shredded body of Hussein being scattered by those who the skies and the earth crushed. La ilaha illallah. And this really makes you think that what Imam Sajjad says, if you knew what I saw in Karbala, you would never smile again. One of the scholars says, لا شيء يشبه كربلاء. There is nothing similar or alike Karbala. ولا من النساء كزينب. And there is no ladies like Zainab. ولا من الرجال كالحسين. And there are no men like Hussein. Brothers and sisters, keep in mind that Imam al-Hussein's body will sit in the desert for 3 nights, not covered, not washed, and not buried. The sun will rise and fall, rise again and fall, 3 times until the body of Hussein is put together again. But do you know how the body is put again together? It is narrated that Imam al-Hussein's body is scattered, and they would have to bring a big cloth to pick up bits and pieces of his body. As we know that the La'in had ordered for his army to sharpen the hoofs of the horses before it will tremble upon the body of Hussein, mixing his blood with bones, with flesh, for it to be left to dry out in the burning sun. Sahib al-Zaman says, As-salamu ala al-jism al-salim, As-salamu ala al-shayb al-khadib, As-salamu alayka sayyidi wa mawlaya ya Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. My master, last night, before Adhan al-Fajr, you were preparing the pathway for your orphans. And the narration says that when the orphans of Imam al-Hussein were taken captives, the last to get onto the camels was Imam al-Sajjad and Zainab Salamullahi alayha. A discussion took place between Zainab and Imam al-Sajjad upon who will help and assist the other. Imam al-Sajjad said to her, Zainab, ride the camel, I will help you. Zainab said to him, oh son of my brother, you are ill and you're in this state. Let me assist you. And then Zainab cried because she looked left and she looked right, remembering that once upon a time, wherever she would go, she would be accompanied. But now she stands alone, not knowing who will help her, who will give her sitr and aba for her to get on the camel. أنا ستر الله زينب اللي يحجون عني، أنا ستر الله زينب اللي يحجون عني، أنا ظليت حايرة واصفج باليدين، لا عباس يبرالي ولا حسين، أنا منين أجيب ابن أمي يمين؟ أنا ظليت حايرة واصفج باليدين، لا عباس يبرالي ولا حسين، أنا منين أجيب ابن أمي يمين؟ I am confused, I am lost, I clap with my hand. Where can I find Abbas? Where can I find Hussein? Where do I call the sons of my mother? And there Zainab stands in the night, weeping, crying to herself. أنا بالليل أنعي وضمن ونتي حتى على سمعي، أنا ظليت أصفن على نجيب، بلجن أقعد من هذا الحلم. I stayed staring to the skies. I hope I wake up from this dream, No, my Mawla, no, Zainab, this was not your dream. This is what had taken place in Karbala after your grandfather said, إنهم مني وأنا منهم، لحمهم لحمي ودمي دمهم. My flesh is their flesh, my blood is their blood. Ya Rasulullah, we say, Ya طير خبر النبي عن ما جرى في كربلاء. Oh bad narrate to what had happened in the land of Karbala. Your once beloved Hussein was a body without a head, and the son of Ali, Abu al-Fadl, laid on the battleground, his face forward, falling to the ground. You know, when you fall to the ground, the first instinct you will have is to put your hands in front of you. But what happened to Abu al-Fadl when both his hands were cut off? Rahim Allah man nada wa Abbasa. Another narration tells us that Abu al-Fadl, when he was on his horse, nobody could reach to him. He was a legend. He was from the bloodline of Ali ibn Abi Talib. How did his helmet fall? The scholars, they do their research, and we have a information that teaches us that Abu al-Fadl, when his left was cut, when his right was cut, he put the flag in front of his chest and kept making his way towards the tent, holding the girba, holding the sack of water, as he promised a orphan in the tent. He promised Sakina that I will go and come back with the water. You know, fathers, when you go out to work, you will buy a lollipop, you will buy a toy to go back to find your child standing behind the door. We had a child standing behind the tent. It was Sakina. Abul Fadl, this legend from legends, put the bag, the sack of water between his teeth. His hands are cut. He makes his way. He makes his way like an eagle towards the tent. The enemies, they aim towards the sack of water. The sack of water is leaking. It is crying. It is leaking water. It is crying, for it could not help Abul Fadl. Do you know where the second arrow goes to? Imam Abul Fadl alayhi salam had his helmet on. How did the helmet fall? The la'in aimed for his eye. The arrow landed in his eye. As Abul Fadl had no arms, he couldn't pull the arrow out. He shook his head. This is when his helmet fell to the ground. La ilaha illallah. Abul Fadl did not reach the tent. Who stood behind the tent door? Sakina. She cries, walking from one door of the tent to another, saying, Ya Ammi, ana al-mai ma ridte. Ya Ammi, uncle, I did not want the water. I wanted you. No, the water had come, nor did you come back to me. What about Ali al-Akbar? You know, the narrations say that all the women in the tent, they held onto Ali al-Akbar's cloak so that he would not go. My Mawla, I also participated, I also took part. I pulled his cloak, but he left and never came back.
MashaAllah. Ahsant. May Allah bless you for every tear that fell today from your recitation, my dear brother Abu Talib. My brothers and sisters, we're going to go for a short break, but after that we'll continue our commemoration of Shami Ghariban. Don't go anywhere. Brothers and sisters, welcome back. You know, I remember during the break that on the 10th of Muharram, when everyone had gone out, Abu Fadl lay on the floor, and Akbar lays on the floor, and Qasim, and all the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Then it was Abu Abdullah al-Hussein's time to go out and say goodbye, to go out and fight. Abu Abdullah bids farewell to Zainab and bids farewell to Hamida, the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqil, and bids farewell to Kulthum. But there was one person he didn't bid farewell to. And he asks, where is my beloved Sukayn? Where is she? They said, she's in the tent, Ya Abu Abdullah, she's waiting for you. He goes in the tent. Sukayna, why haven't you come out to say goodbye to your father? She said, Abata, can I have one request from you? Just one request. He said, sure. She said, do you remember when we heard of the death of Muslim ibn Aqil, my uncle? He said, yes. He said, she said, do you remember when you rubbed the head of Hamida as you do with all other orphans? He said, yes. She said, Father, can you do that for me? Because in a few moments I'm going to become an orphan. And then Abu Abdullah al-Hussein leaves the tent. He leaves the tent and he gets on Al-Maymoon. Or as our dear brothers in the Urdu language, you call it Zul Janah or Dhul Janah. And Abu Abdullah fights and fights and fights, but he's still got arrows coming through to his body. And he's fighting and fighting and fighting until there was one three-headed arrow that pierced the chest of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. The arrow was shot and it pierced the chest of Abu Abdullah. And he almost gave up because that three-headed arrow, it hurt him. It hurt Hussein deeply, ripping his chest. So as Abu Abdullah al-Hussein wanted to fall to the right, Maymoon would change his direction to the right to balance Abu Abdullah. As he wanted to fall to the left, Maymoon turns to the left. And it's as if Maymoon is telling Abu Abdullah, go. Go, Ya Abu Abdullah, go, I'm with you. I've got your back. If Abbas is gone, I'm with you. If Qasim is gone, I'm with you, Abu Abdullah. Until Maymoon felt that from the injuries and the hits and the arrows in the chest and the body of Abu Abdullah, Maymoon felt that this is it. This is the goodbye. This is the wada'. I was the last to see Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. So what does Maymoon do? He stops and gently, not wanting to hurt Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, lays Abu Abdullah. Maymoon, when he went out to battle, head was high. When he came back, he had scars and head was down. And he went to Zainab. And he went to Zainab alayhi salam. And she would say, Gilli al-Maymoon, وين والينا؟
Gilli al-Maymoon, وين والينا؟ Gilli al-Maymoon, وين والينا؟ راح ابو السجاد ولا يرد لينا. انا يا الميمون بيدي قدمتك وانخمش قلب من ريحة بحسين بالله ودعتك والباري حس بقيت روحي تلوج وانتظر جيتك وعيوني جيتني خالي حسين شاوينا جيتني خالي حسين شاوينا راحمني الدين بالله يا الميمون رد علي جواب وخفي ويني سرجان كل مقلوب صاب قلبي صواب وثقل حني هذا دم حسين لو حمار خضاب ما تدلي هم الميمون هم الميمون وهميلت عينا راحمني دينا.
اللهم صل على محمد. Ahsant Abu Talib. The story of the Zuljana touches us all. The horse returning without its rider, a sad scene. And where we come from in Pakistan, it is the opening scene for when we do our azar and our latab, that the stallion, the horse, has come without its rider, that Abu Abdullah Hussein is no more. Our elders tell us that when Abu Abdullah Hussein was on his horse fighting valiantly, there came a time where his energy was no more. And as Brother Minhaj said, the horse laid Abu Abdullah to the ground. He laid there, breathing heavy, trying to recover from the injuries. The horse came to Abu Abdullah and said, if you have enough energy, get on my back, mount me again. I will take you to Najaf. I will take you to Medina. I will take you far from here. Abu Abdullah said, can you take me to Ashura? Can you take me to Ali Akbar? Can you take me to Abu Fadil? The horse did what it could to protect Abu Abdullah Hussein until the army came close. Sayyidah Zainab Salamu alayha says that when Shimr Lanatullah alayh mounted the chest of Abu Abdullah, when he climbed his back, Abu Abdullah went into prostration. Abu Abdullah went into salah, and while he was praying, she could see his hands moving up and down on his feet. Sayyid Khamis, do you have something related to the final prostration, the sujood of Abu Abdullah Hussein?
The writer in this refers to the exact moment, Sayyid Mohsin. And he says, for as long as the dagger was being, the dagger was being used on Imam Hussein, for all that time, the Imam remained busy in prostration. He was in sujood, as you said, as he was being beheaded. Can I request a loud salawat before I recite, please?
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma
salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
चलती रही जो हल्क पे शमशीर देर तक चलती रही जो हल्क पे शमशीर देर तक मसरूफ़ बंदगी रहे शबीर देर तक चलती रही जो हल्क पे शमशीर देर तक बीमार करबला के कदम चूम चूम कर बीमार करबला के बीमार करबला के कदम चूम चूम कर रोती रही थी पाँव की जंजीर देर तक चलती रही जो हल्क पे शमशीर देर तक. The next verse I'm about to recite, it refers to Janab Qasim, and it says Imam Hussein spent a very long time trying to piece together the complete picture of Janab Qasim, but he never could. कासिम के टुकड़े रेती पे चुनते रहे हुसैन कासिम के टुकड़े रेती पे चुनते रहे हुसैन तस्वीर जोड़ते रहे शबीर देर तक अब्बास लेके चुल्लू अब्बास लेके चुल्लू में आबे फुरात को देखा कि ये सकीना की तस्वीर देर तक चलती रही जो हल्क पे शमशीर देर तक ज़ैनब का सिर खुला हुआ बाजार शाम में ज़ैनब का सिर खुला हुआ ज़ैनब का
से खुला हुआ बाजार शाम में तकती रही थी चादर ततहीर देर तक चलती रही जो हल्क पे चलती रही जो हल्क पे शमशीर देर तक मसरूफ बंदगी रहे शबीर देर तक
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Sayyid Khamis, mashallah. The tragedy of Karbala doesn't finish just at Abu Abdullah Hussein. Though Abu Abdullah had one of the most difficult tasks and the most difficult days, Imam Hussein says, there is no day like your day, Ya Abu Abdullah. And around 4:10, 4:15, Abu Abdullah was brutally butchered on the plains of Karbala. But for Imam Sajjad was asked, you men, you of Bani Hashim, aren't you used to being martyrs? Aren't you used to being beheaded? And he said, yes, of course. We are, it is an honor for us to die for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is an honor for us to die for the deen of Rasulullah, for our grandfather. But there is no honor when your women are being paraded. There is no honor where your women are held captive. There is no honor when your women are being slapped and ridiculed and humiliated. This is not what we're used to. Sayyidah Fatima Zahra salam alayha said, or they say she had 7 hijabs. She used to do hijab from the sun. Never mind people. No one saw the face or the faces. No one even saw the shadow of Sayyidah Zainab salam alayha. This was how well far they were kept away from society and from the eyes of man. But on that day, too much was revealed and it was unbearable for the Imam.
That's why he would say Asham, Asham, Asham. Because Sham was the most difficult part when they were paraded through the market of Sham to Jami' al-Amawi.
Ahsant. But before Sham was a fire, was a looting, was a girl only 4 years old holding her ears because they were bleeding. The narrations tell us, now bear with me brothers and sisters, when it comes to Karbala and when it comes to the Masibah of Abu Abdullah Hussein and the Masibah of Bani Hashim, I don't hold back. I will tell you what happened. They say that Shimr, Lanatullah alayhi, came to Sayyidah Ruqayya or Sayyidah Sakina, the 4-year-old daughter of Imam Hussein, wanted the earrings. They fought, they hustled, they tussed. He slapped her. He slapped her so hard, she began to have a stutter. She couldn't speak properly afterwards. The children would run from tent to tent. The women without any protectors. They'll look at Imam Sajjad, and Imam Sajjad, ill, with his bent back, would say it is wajib for us to protect our lives and we must leave the tents, even if you do not have the hijab which you proudly wear as Bani Hashim. My brothers, Alamdar party, do you have anything in regards to the children, the running, the screaming, the beating that they took? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। हाय हर तमाचे पे सकीना ने, हर तमाचे पे सकीना ने पुकारा बाबा। जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। हाय मुझे बालों से पकड़ कर तमाचे मारे। हाय मुझे बालों से पकड़ कर तमाचे मारे। मैंने सरशिम्र से मांगा जो तुम्हारा बाबा। जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। हाय आपके सीने पे आराम से सोने वाली, आपके सीने पे आराम से सोने वाली। सो के अब हाक पे करती है गुजारा बाबा। जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। वो जो दुरिया अपने तोहफे में मुझे बख्शे थे, वो जो दुरिया अपने तोहफे में मुझे बख्शे थे। उनको बेदर्दी से जालिम ने उतारा बाबा। जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। नो के नेज़ा पे उसे देखूं तो देखूं कैसे। नो के नेज़ा पे उसे देखूं तो देखूं कैसे। मेरा असगर था मुझे जान से भी प्यारा बाबा। जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। ना कोई मुझको बुलाता है सकीना कह के, ना कोई मुझको बुलाता है सकीना कह के। शाम के लोग बुलाते हैं यतीमा बाबा। जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मोहम्मद
Karbala to Sham. Tonight is when the journey begins, and lights, candles are being lit in Bayn al-Haramain. There was one story from that journey. One story that really breaks your heart. And it's when Bibi Sukaina alayhi salam got lost somewhere on the journey. And Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam became worried, as if she didn't have enough worries to worry about already. She became worried about Bibi Sukaina alayhi salam. And her and Kulthum and the other ladies would go out and they would look for Sukaina. Until they saw Sukaina being taken care of by this lady. Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam approaches this lady. She says, first of all, she checks on Sukaina. She sees that Sukaina's okay. And then she thanks the lady. She says, thank you, lady. Who are you? Thank you for helping Sukaina, my niece. She said, my daughter Zainab, have I changed this much? Have I changed this much? You don't recognize your own mother? It's me, Fatima al-Zahra. She says, mother, you don't know what they did to us. You didn't see the whips of shimmer. She says, it'll be okay, my daughter. Another time, in the ruins of Sham, Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam was able to catch a little bit of rest. But she fell asleep. And she saw this grand figure come up to her with a sword on his side, riding a horse. Subhanallah, look at what the calamities of Karbala did to the bravest of females. She said, oh man, please, we've seen enough. Please don't hit us anymore. Please don't hurt us. Man responds, my daughter Zainab, it's me, your father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. I just came to check on you. But you don't know what they did to us.
Another narration that Imam Sajjad salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi says that a female asks Imam Sajjad, says to him, how has the hair color of Zainab changed? Imam Sajjad replies and says, with the sunrise and the sunset of the day of Ashura, the hair color of Zainab changed from black to white. What went upon Zainab has not happened to anybody else before. One of the brothers of Zainab, salamatullahi alayha, Muhammad, the name of Abu Jasim, after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, Imam Sajjad, and we have narrations about this, requests from the females to weep and cry and grief for the loss of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Sajjad enters to the tent. Alongside him comes one of the brothers, or the companions, or the cousins of Zainab salamullahi alayha. And Zainab sits to the side. This man says to Imam Sajjad, says to him, Ya Zain al-Abidin, this lady sitting to the side, I can see her hair. but she is a mahram to me. I'm not meant to see her hair. He said to him, did you not recognize her? This is Zainab. She replied, says, Khoya, 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 Khoya ya Jasim, ya Abu Muhammad, جنك معرفتني لأن المصايب شيبتني أنا شفت حسين ظل جثة بلا راس وشفت عباس مقطوعة جفينه. What else does she say? لو بيدي يا حسين كنت أظل يمك واتوسدي وياك واسبح بدمك يا ابن امي الحال الاجل بينك وبيني بصوت المصيبه تنادي الغريبه يل جنيت عايش بقربي ويل جنيت عايش بقربك هايك خذ يا حسين قلبي خويا يا المصيوب قلبك هاك خذ يا حسين عيني يا ابن ابويا وشوف دربك قوم انهض انظر حالتي يا ضوى عيوني وسلوتي يا ابن امي حرقه وخيمتي من الخطر فريت يمك خويا قعيدي وشوف حالي الفواطي متحيرة تصيح وين الهواشي ومتصل وانهب ونيتي دي اسمع ونيني بصوت المصيبة تنادي الغريبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Abu Talib. Brothers and sisters, we are coming towards the end of the show. But before we leave, we take time to remember the survivors of Karbala. Those who survived and managed to bring us the tragic stories so that we, year by year, can revive, relive, and re-honor Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and his tragedy. It was the will of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra salamu alayha when she was told by her father what would happen of her son Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And she said, "Oh father, who would be there to mourn for my Hussein? Who would cry for my Hussein? Who would lament for my Hussein?" And it was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam who said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a special group of people who will mourn, lament, grieve, cry, and eulogize over your son until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Brothers and sisters, you sitting in the majlis is no coincidence. You honoring the tragic death of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein isn't by chance. It's not just a story that you stumbled across and you thought, oh, I would like to listen to this, or I'd like to read this book, or I like the way this Noah Khan recites, I want to go. No, brothers and sisters, we are an answer to the dua of Zahra salamun alayha. This is not by chance. We have been specifically chosen to honor and lament for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And inshallah, may we continue to honor Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and continue with the azah and continue with the mourning of Muharram.
Brothers and sisters, as my dear brother Sayyid Muhsin mentioned, we have come towards the end of the show. The journey from Karbala to Kufa to Sham was a difficult one. Many stories to be told, and not stories that can be covered in 2 hours, not even more than 2 hours. Our burn and our flame in our hearts continues to be lit until the day of judgment and until we die. The only time Abu Abdullah al-Hussein's blood will dry up, and when his blood will be avenged, is when Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman appears. Until then, from under the soil of the dome of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, at 4 p.m. today, it started leaking blood. And so did it from the shrine of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam. And the rock that was given to one of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alih turned red today, indicative of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein's martyrdom. I'd like to thank all of our audience today, our dear reciters, my brother Abu Talib, Sayyid Muhsin. I'd like to thank all our cameramen and our team that work in the production downstairs to help us bring you these shows and show you Karbala live. And what better way than to commemorate Sham-e Ghariban with the 2 holy domes behind us. From us here at Imam Hussein Media Group, I'd like to bid you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.